Okay, so I'm going to admit something to you all. I have a crush on Regis Philbin. It's a little bit sexual, but it's mostly a platonic old man crush. Things I like about Regis: he always wears 3-button suits, and he talks about them a lot. He tells the same 4 or 5 stories over and over again about his childhood best friend, freakin' Finelli. And he always manages to get names wrong of the most famous of celebrities when he's interviewing them. He also bursts into song, and I find it romantic and endearing. He is the reason why I opened a TD bank account, guys. And one last wonderful crush attribute about the Reg is that he does the worst impression of Sean Connery. Yet somehow I find it so sexy. My crush on Regis Philbin is the longest crush that I've ever had. In kindergarten, my crushes would last for about 15 minutes. It would be like the duration of the game Kissy Kissy at recess, then I'd be over it. And in middle school, I would fixate on someone for a couple weeks, and in 7th grade, I went back into all of my yearbooks, kindergarten up to 7th grade, and drew a heart around the person that I had the crush on in 7th grade. And in 8th grade, I was mortified when I looked back and saw all of those hearts and convinced myself that my friends had gotten into my yearbooks and sabotaged them, and this was not true. In high school, I had a crush for a year on the same person, and it was one of those soul-crushing crushes, and I felt the only thing I could do to make this crush come a reality is write the most passionate, true, raw letter that I could to this crush, and then never give it to them. But my crush on Regis started in kindergarten and continues to present day. It is a continuous, burning, eternal flame. When I would get sick in school, in elementary school, middle school, my favorite thing to do would be to wear my pajamas and watch Live with Regis and Kathy Lee while eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's Coffee Heath Bar Crunch ice cream. And the ice cream wasn't the best part, Regis was. And the next day, if I was feeling a little bit better, I would Ferris Bueller it up a tiny bit so that I could stay home an extra day for an extra hour of Regis. And when I was 25, I had a job that was from 10 to 6, and my commute to work was 20 minutes. So I had 40 minutes of Live with Regis and Kelly time every morning for 3 years, and it was an excellent way to start my day. I didn't even need to drink coffee as long as I watched Live with Regis and Kelly. I was going to have an awesome day. But if I drank my coffee and didn't watch Live with Regis and Kelly, I had to stop and consider if the day was worth continuing at all. And at 25, I also had a quarter-life crisis, and I decided I was going to move to Japan. And I had a lot of worry and excitement and anxiety about going there, and one of the things that I had to think about long and hard was, can I stream Live with Regis and Kelly while I'm there? I don't know if I can be a year without Regis. But I knew I needed to go anyway, but since I was moving out of New York, where I lived at the time, I made a 3-page to-do list of all the things I needed to do before going away, and at the top of the list was see Regis. Now, I knew where he lived because he talked about it all the time when he was on the show, but I didn't want to be a creepy stalker standing out of his apartment, so I decided to take the civilized approach and go and be in the studio audience. But because I didn't have that much time to plan in advance, I had to go to the standby line. So it's 5 a.m. in the summer, it's raining, and I arrive at 67th and Columbus to the Live with Regis and Kelly studio, and I stand in line behind a sea of Midwestern perms and mom jeans, and I'm waiting there so excited by myself. And we get to 7 a.m., and they start to hand out numbers to the standby line, and they say that we can leave for an hour as long as we hold on to our number, we can come back. So I went across the street to Regis's Starbucks in hopes that I would see him getting his latte. But he was not there yet. So it's 8 o'clock, I go back to the line, I see the people who had actual tickets file in, and I was like, I will be with you soon, don't worry. And they start to call out the standby numbers, and the last number they called is the woman in front of me who's wearing a Notre Dame sweatshirt and a fanny pack. And I'm disappointed, but I had a plan B that was time sensitive, so I'm thinking I need to just turn back around, go into the subway, go back to Brooklyn to my apartment to watch the full hour of Regis and Kelly on TV because I only have a few days of Regis left. And as I'm doing so, the world turns into slow motion, and as I look, there he is, the Reg, crossing the street from his apartment to the Live with Regis and Kelly studio, with an umbrella in one hand and a briefcase in the other, and he's wearing a beautiful 3-button suit. And we lock eyes, and he smiles, and I swear there was one of those cartoon twinkles in his teeth. And it made a little chime when we smiled. And then he passed me to go into his job, and I ran into the subway and made it home to watch the full hour of Regis and Kelly. And after it was over, I checked it off my list. I saw Regis, and smiling with him on the street was all that I could ask for. Thanks, guys.